Hello! Welcome back to another episode of Bad Unboxing. What I'm saying? So we're back in my shop garage. The car's running perfect after the dyno, but we still had some little bits to sort out with the setup, with the intercooler. I've got the thermo fans that we ordered, and I've got a fan controller for it as well, so we can muck around with when they turn on and off to try and control the temps and keep it at a nice range. I didn't trust the preset or the non-adjustable ones because they might keep it too cold, they might not keep it cold enough, I don't know. So that's why we forked out the money, got an adjustable one, which is pretty trick. This is new joiners and new clamps for the intercooler setup. This is the alarm immobilizer kit because these cars get stolen all the time, but also it's got central locking kit in there as well, so we don't have to wear out the 30-year-old key barrels that are already in there. We can just use the alarm and give it a bit of safety and just make it a bit easier using the car day to day. Not that it's going to be a daily driver. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, so I got two fans for this setup, two 12-inch fans. The reason why I went for 12-inch fans is I did a little bit of maths for surface area. So two 12-inch fans have more surface area than one 16-inch fan, which is about as big as you can fit height-wise on the stock radiator. So yeah, went for two fans instead of one. Also a bit more redundancy as well, so if for whatever reason the relay or a fan stops working, I've still got another fan that'll sort of do some of the work. So if you just got one fan and it stops working and you're going for a drive somewhere, then you kind of have to get the car towed or just drive it in short distances so it doesn't overheat. Also the CFM, advertised CFM flow rate of these fans, which I think it's written on the box. Yeah, the advertised flow rate of these fans, two 12-inch fans flow more air than one 16-inch fan as well, and that's looking at some of the really expensive fans like Spell fans and Davis Crate and things like that. I went with Aeroflow because they do this super neat digital fan controller kit, which has got all your relays and wirings and fuses and everything all in one go. This isn't a plug for Aeroflow, this is why we went for them. Compared to a lot of other ones where I'd have to sort of make the kit myself, which I can do, I just can't be bothered. So we'll try this out for now. Cool, and these are a push-pull fan. We're going to be running in a pull type, so having fitting in the engine bay. That's how we're going to set them up. And the curved blades are more efficient. So, yeah, looks pretty neat. Fairly stiff frame. It's yeah, I didn't want to go with some just eBay spec fans that come with a shroud, and you can buy like a whole alloy radiator with a fan shroud and two fans, like a few $100, but I just don't trust it. And the last thing I want to do is spend a few $100 or cheap out getting a cheap setup, then you take it all the way to the racetrack and it overheats anyway. On a freshly built motor and all the work we put into it, it's not worth saving a couple $100 in the cooling system, which is like the most important thing for the car, after everything else is done. Alright, so we've got two fans, some crappy mounting zip ties which I won't be using, but these little bolt down feet to clip in, I'll definitely be using. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a fan shroud for both the fans just sit on the back of the radiator. But my plan is, because I've got a bit of space, I'm going to angle them slightly. So rather than having them sitting flush on the fan, like on the radiator like that, I'm going to angle them as much as I can so that when they're pushing the air back, it's not straight onto the motor, it tries to go either side of the motor. I'm hoping it'll just keep the engine bay temps down a little bit better, get flow through the engine bay a bit better rather than just buffeting it straight into the motor and then it kind of bouncing around and going off to the sides anyway. So, I mean, every little bit counts, and I'm going to make a shroud anyway. It's not going to be much more work to just put them on a bit of an angle, so I'll give it a shot, see how it works out. Worst case, it might just look cool. Have a look at this fan control, which I'm pretty excited about. I like fancy electronic stuff. It's cool to push buttons and have little LED displays, and everyone likes gauges. Cool. What have we got? Oh, it's stuck down. Cool, so there's the main unit. So this one's got, it's actually got water temp, oil temp, and battery voltage readouts on as well, which, I mean, we've already got gauges for oil temp and water temp, so I don't really need it. But I mean, it's kind of cool that it's got all these features in it. If you just wanted a real sort of subtle street setup, you could have this sitting on your, just in front of your gauge cluster, and you just flip through and got a little handy readout for you. Similar to the like pen type Pexi air fuel ratio gauges. Anyway, so there's the main unit, nice and small. So I'm going to try and tuck that away somewhere that's easy to get to, but not in the way. So I'm thinking maybe one of the vents just behind the steering wheel. I think I'll truck it in there if it fits. We'll see. So we got two senders, one for oil temp, one for water temp, which is fine. I've already got senders in the car for these, so I'll hopefully just pin a wire onto the other ones. I don't know, I've got to test these gauges, see what the resistance is on it, because it might not quite work. Instructions, don't need those. Here's the relay for the fan control. So it's just running one relay. I guess they assume you're just going to run one fan. This is a 30 amp relay, so I'll probably get another relay and wire separate one in for each fan. But run the same trigger feed off the controller, so that doesn't matter if it's running separate ones. Cool. Alright, what else we got? Alarm. So this is an alarm system we went from Viper. I didn't pick this alarm. James. Ooh, stickers. James picked the alarm. He just said this is the one he wanted, so he did all his research. That's fine. So I'll install it for him. I'm not going to show the installation of the alarm because that's a bit stupid. I'm not going to show people how and where I wired everything, but what I will do, I'm going to be hiding this. I don't like seeing alarms at all, especially not when you spend all this time cleaning up an engine bay and stick some ugly speaker in there. So I'm going to hide this somewhere in the car, like underneath the car, or yeah, somewhere. I've got no space in the wheel arches. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to hide this somewhere anyway. And same goes for the control box. Every alarm I've ever seen, either installed or that I've removed, these are always chucked in the same spot, which is on the bottom of the steering column, next to the kick panel, just loose behind a trim piece somewhere. So I'm going to try and put this somewhere where it's not easy to find. Just on the off chance that someone knows what they're doing if they're trying to steal this car and they know how to disable an alarm very quickly. I want it to be as far away from where they expect to find it as possible, so that, you know, even if it takes them an extra 30 seconds or an extra minute or two to find and disable the alarm, that's an extra 30 seconds or a minute for somebody to find and see them or do something anyway. Hopefully. I think this is probably half the reason why James went for this alarm, because these little key fobs are nice and they don't look too tacky. Apart from the Viper there and no branding, you almost think it's a factory style one, because it's not trying to. I hate those big old LCD ones where it shows like a picture of a car and just trying too hard to be cool. This is just slim, it'll fit in your pocket, no worries. I like it. Probably just broke that. That is probably the shock alarm or the aerial. Bunch of wiring. And I will actually be keeping this instruction kit because I'm probably going to have to chop and extend and relocate a bunch of things, so this is exactly what I want. So I really like that. Full wiring diagram, descriptions, colours, locations, perfect. Alright. Lucky last. Looks like I bought a pound of cocaine. How do they do this on the movies? Right across the middle. Oh my god. Everything's individually packed like 3 times over. 2" to 2.5" 90 degree. So that's straight off the turbo to the cool pipe. A couple of clamps. So these are the T-bolt clamps. I really like these ones because it's really hard to strip the T-bolt threaded section here. When they clamp in a more cylindrical way. They're not just sort of squishing one side down. So you don't get crimped hoses, or if you're clamping like a radiator or something plastic, you're not putting pressure on one point more than any other point. These are a bit wider, which for cool piping is generally pretty good. Means you don't have to clamp them down super tight. You just do them up till they're firm and you're done. So this is the 90 degree. This is the 90 degree off the intercooler. Hopefully this works. It's a really tight space, so it's a really tight radius in there, so it might work. But I was always not sure about these, but we'll give them a go. With this intercooler setup, I've gone with really consistent pipe diameters. So the only expansion is off the turbo. So the turbo outlet's 2". We've gone to 2.5" off the turbo, and we kept that all the way through the hot side to the intercooler with 2.5" outlets on that. Straight through 2.5 off the cold side, and then the throttle body on the S13s are a 2.75, like a little bit bigger than 2.5", but we've kept 2.5" all the way to the throttle body. The idea with that is that I don't want expansion, contraction in the cool pipes, because it creates turbulence. It affects the pressure drop and the temperature drop, or temperature change. So if you have a rapid expansion, the air will cool down and slow down, and then you need to push it faster to get through the intercooler. And then on the other side, if you shrink it down again, it'll speed up, but it'll heat up, and it creates turbulence on just before the throttle body. So I tried to keep it as smooth and consistent, and that's the tightest bend in the whole cooler system. So yeah, another 90 degree the other side of the cooler. Now I did think of welding 90 degrees onto the cooler, which if these don't quite cut it, I still might. But the idea with this is that I want to use as much off-the-shelf stuff as I can, so that it's easy to make up a kit, makes it cheaper for other people, but also it's just easier to manufacture. I can just get an off-the-shelf cooler, off-the-shelf clamps, off-the-shelf joiners. The only thing's custom is the mounts and the pipes. So see how we go with that. And here we have That's 3" to 2.5" reducer. So this is from the airflow meter to the intake pipe, or it runs a Z32 airflow meter, but most airflow meters are 3" diameter these days, and it's running up to a stock airbox on this setup. Trying to be super stealth and factory. So there's the joiner reducer for that, and then this will be lucky last is our reducer down to the throttle pull, up to the throttle body. So we've got 2.5 to 2 3/4. But anyway, these look great. These are exactly what I wanted. Plain black, no branding, reasonable quality. You generally don't have issues with these, well, any brand of silicon joiner, and if you do, you can pick it straight away. These are a really thick reinforced one as well. This car's running about 22 psi, but I wanted the joiners and clamps and everything to be rated all the way up to 30 psi plus for anyone else who wants to put this setup on their car and just never have to worry about the clamps or joiners or anything. You just build the motor however you want it, run the cooler, and just thrash the car and have fun. Cool. So that's that. Alright. Those are my updates until we get back to working on the car. That's not going to be for another maybe week or so. But we're going to be more focused on getting the car roadworthy now. So I'm not going to bother putting all these joiners on. The clamps are going to get sent off to get blackened. The alarm's definitely going to go in, but as I said, I'm not going to film any of that. I'm just going to put it in and hide it away as best I can. And then the fans and shroud, I'll definitely try and put those in before roadworthy if I get a chance, because I mean the car runs fine now, but there's no point not putting the fans in. It'll just run better. But yeah, I just don't know if I'll have a chance to fabricate all that up and test fit and clean it all up before roadworthy. Take it to the mechanic and get him to tell me all the things that are wrong with it, and then go through that tedious process. It'll probably be seatbelts and windscreen and annoying things to fix. But we'll give it a shot.